Let me do a little test here with Dan Mullen, UNLV coach, who's at Circa. You know what? I need new lights for the show.
Yeah.
Can you give me $50? No, I'm doing that. You look at me like, what are you kidding me? No, that's actually a great look. That's what you have to do. Yeah. That's what you have to do. But guess what? It ain't $50. So what has it been like? Because I've heard you have been out there hoofing it.
Oh, to get money from people
and you
around
do not. And I've heard you do not hesitate.
No.
I wonder what your approach is when you're like, sir, Mr. Rich person or woman, I'd like $500,000.
Well, a lot of it is building the program too, and a lot of it's business people. And you look at what's the return for the $50 I'd give you for a light. I'm not sure the return I'm going to get on the capital on that, right?
That's not going to help much. That's the whole point.
But no. So no, what you get back is part of what we're trying to build here. And I said, listen, if I can bring big-time college football, we're here at Circa, okay? I met with Derek Stevens and said, hey, if we can bring big-time college football here, tell me about that game last year. Oh, that was unbelievable. The excitement, what it did, the business, the money it brought to the town. And so what if I can find a way to try to make that happen 6 times a year? It's like, okay, hold on, let's talk. I said, I want to build a program, right? I mean, think of the economic impact of this city if somehow we can win the Mountain West, get a playoff bid, and we're high enough to host a home playoff game.
Yeah.
That's
a good pitch.
So there's some return to the city. It's not, hey, I know you've done well. We need money at the program to just have a program. We're going to try to build a program that is going to help this city and make the city proud of what it's going to do and bring a level back to what it was. If I say Runnin' Rebels, I'm not from Vegas. If I say Runnin' Rebels, I can give you the starting 5 of the 90 team. And I don't know, like Florida, someone just, like, I'm like, I couldn't remember. Like, Florida won the championship. I don't know if I can name one player on this year's national championship team. They had the great guard that was tough that we recruited.
Walter Clayton. Yeah.
Walter Clayton.
Yeah. Who you recruited too, football guy.
And, right, so you like one, okay? But so I think the excitement to bring that national brand back. Like, you go anywhere in the country, say Runnin' Rebels, they're instantly thinking of that group. Yeah. Well, we want to bring that excitement back to the city and build a championship team on the football field and let the city experience championship football. And if we can do it and the businesses get behind it all, they're going to see a reward on their end as well.
I'm going to put the shoe on the other foot. Now I'm going to come to you. I just asked you for 50, but I'm going to play this role.
Ask me more money for NFL.
No.
Now you need more money to play quarterback for us.
September 13th. Dan, I need your stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, how'd that go? When boxing comes and they're like, hey, we'd like to use the stadium for a big fight.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Well, I wasn't involved in those discussions, but I was involved in, would you be willing to move the game to play weeks here? And I said, sure. I said, you know what? One, it's going to help the city. Again, I mean, it's going to bring a bunch of money to the city, and it just changes our, a little bit of our calendar. We didn't lose a game, right? We're not getting rid of a home game. We're just adjusting our calendar. Helps the city a lot. So that was easy to do as long as it was beneficial for the city, for us. The benefit, we have Allegiant Stadium. The benefit is we have one of the best stadiums in college football. The negative is, we had to have a spring scrimmage at our stadium because I had a WrestleMania and AC/DC problem, right? Yeah. The benefit is, the negative is I have to move my game. The benefit is that becomes a bye weekend, so I'll probably be at the Canelo fight.
So you at least get tickets. You gotta get tickets.
We might have negotiated a ticket or two into that.
That's got to be in the deal. Well, also, people outside of Vegas don't realize, even though we've grown to like 2.7 million, it's still a very small town.
It is,
and everyone is kind of connected. So you doing someone a solid might pay off.
We're all in it together. That's what it is. It is. Listen, the Raiders bring a lot of football to town. Hopefully we bring the college. Hopefully we make weekends in the fall, football weekends, a big combination of both. Now, listen, for the family of 4 out there that wants to go to see a UNLV game, it's going to be a lot more cost efficient than going to a Raiders game. I can promise you that. Nothing against the NFL and the Raiders, but for the local family of 4, hey, get some UNLV gear, jump on the bandwagon, let's go, and come start supporting the team. Because you never know. Hey, that 3-year-old that starts coming to a game, UNLV games this year, right? 15 years from now might be 5-star #1 player, and his dream was to go to UNLV his whole life.
I like that you said earlier you met with Derek Stevens. Nobody meets with him. You experience life with him.
We were hanging out last night here too. We met before about some of the visions, and I don't think I've ever been with him where it wasn't an experience.
Yeah,
right?
It's a good time. I actually do want to turn to something earlier because I know you were looking at the poll earlier while you were having your media session. UNLV picked second. I'm very intrigued by the fact that you guys are picked second. Everybody knows you're going to be good. But then you look at the all conference team, and there's not a whole lot of guys.
It must be coaching.
So I guess is that almost good? Like people just know you're going to be good, even though I don't know who the players are, I don't know who's going to be a great player, but they're going to be good.
I think a lot within the conference and with all conference teams, it's trickier sometimes because they don't. You have guys that played in this league last year, so I think it's a lot easier. You're looking at the all-conference team to pick guys that are returning players in the league.
Yeah.
I think that we have a lot of guys that came in from the outside, and so those guys, when you're looking at them, they're not household names to people in the league. Even though we think, hey, this guy could be a really good player out there. Hey, they got some pass rushers coming off the edge that they went and got some DBs that are really good football players. We don't know them. They haven't played in this league, so I see that all the time. I have no problem with that. My concern, I don't really care where we finish in the preseason rankings. I know where I want to finish postseason.
Right.
I don't really care who's on preseason all-conference team. I really care who's on postseason all-conference team.
The guys I mentioned, because I was out there at practice, and it's hard. It's hard unless you see practice, and it's just practice too. But I felt like I built up a wealth of knowledge. I think Reed Williams has a chance to be a guy on the offensive line.
Yep.
Maybe all Mountain West Conference. I think one of your defensive backs. I'm still trying to figure out what the rotation is going to be. I like Mumu a lot.
Yep.
And I also I've already
Amaris Brown.
I like him. I've also shouted out Cohen Fuller.
Yep.
I think he has a chance.
Good player
as an
inside.
guy.
We got Jalen Lee coming off the injury. Didn't go through spring.
Yeah, tell us about him because
Played for me at Florida.
Okay. Big fella.
Big guy,
Legit
athletic
big
guy. Was playing. A couple years ago, he was playing for me at Florida. So he's played at a high level of football. He's coming off an injury, so it's good to have him healthy on the D line. But a lot of different. But like you're saying, now you throw him in, and the one thing is, players adding can make other players better. You know what I mean? Especially like you on the D line. Hey, Jalen Lee's got to understand. Hey, by me being stout in there and taking on double teams is going to allow Marcel McDuffie to make a lot more tackles.
Yep.
It's those type of things of guys really understanding the importance of team football.
I don't want to go too hardcore because it's still early and you're going to be out there next week, so we'll get a better idea. And you have new guys coming in, too, beyond the guys we saw. On the offensive line, I feel like you have a pretty deep rotation of guards, especially since you added Makaheli, who was here, who's a monster, and I felt like you already had good competition before you added him at guard.
Yep. Yeah, it was a starter, played a ton of plays a couple years ago here. I think it's important, when you're creating the depth, right? When you look, if you want to go compete for a championship, it's a long season. And you got to have that depth to get through the season, right? You as you brought it out, especially on the O-line, a lot of times you got to hope. If you have 8 that you feel, you have 8 starters on the O-line, you got a chance. And I use the word starter. I think you've heard me say I care less who starts. The better stat is who finishes, who's on the field on the last play of the game when it's really important, when it matters the most. But not whatever plays the first snap of the game, that's the starter. But if you have 8 starters, what I mean by that is 8 guys ready to go play at any time, 8 guys that are interchangeable, you'll be good. If we can get to 10, I think we could be special on the offensive line. The same at the receiver position, right? If you have 6, that means I'm too deep. I can roll them through. That means instead of having to play 70 plays, I only have to play 40 plays, 35, 40 plays a game. Well, you're a lot faster at rep 40 than you are at rep 70. Yeah. And, running back, we have some depth at the running back. We're trying to create that depth to have 60 guys ready to go play. That'll get us through a whole season. And, as you get banged up and nicks and bruises, and, instead of playing all these plays and having injuries, we're keeping guys healthier to go play the long season. Because, ideally, we'd like to get, minimal 14 games in, right? And then hopefully, that we win game 14 to get to 15 and win 15 to get to 16.